Today's subject is cart before the horse. The expression cart before the horse is an idiom used to suggest something done contrary to the natural or normally effective sequence of events. Historically, a cart is ordinarily pulled by a horse. So to put the cart before the horse is an analogy for doing things out of the natural usual order. However, in using your own wonderful human imagination, putting the cart before the horse would be ideal in the grand scheme of creation. Now, let us listen to the message.
Okay, so the saying goes, don't put the cart before the horse. Another one is, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Another one is, a bird in the hand is worth more than two in a bush. Why is it throughout life we're always taught not to expect the most? Why in life are we always taught to prepare for the worst? We're never taught to prepare for the best. Always be cautious, always keep your feet on the ground, no dreaming, no high expectations. Don't climb too high, because the higher you climb, the harder the impact when you fall. Why is there always preparation for the fall, as if we should prepare for that? I think a lot of people expect the fall, and we all know what happens when we expect things. They happen. How many times have you heard people say, well, don't get your heart broken. Life's not a fairy tale. Now, why exactly can't life be a fairy tale? That doesn't make any sense. In the teachings of Neville Goddard, we're supposed to put the cart before the horse. We're supposed to prepare for the best. We're supposed to expect the best all the time. In preparing for the worst, that's exactly what you're going to get. There's another saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That makes no sense. Well, it doesn't make any sense now. Before I was introduced to the teachings of Neville Goddard and the law of assumption, I thought the exact same way. And the great sleepers of the world still think that way. There are so many people who think that if you expect the best and you look for nothing but the best, you're an ostrich with your head in the sand, or you're just a dreamer with your head in the clouds. Putting the cart before the horse is saying, I'm expecting something great. Counting your chickens before they hatch means I'm expecting something great. Expectation is high. I'm not holding on to the armrest of my chair in preparation for some life earthquake. For us, the students of Neville Goddard, seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing. So anytime you hear one of these idioms, especially don't put the cart before the horse, you really need to switch that around. You really need to reanalyze that and understand that it makes sense to put the cart before the horse. It always makes sense to put the cart before the horse because your expectation is so high and you know exactly what you're doing in life and you know exactly what you're expecting in life, and that's what you're going to get because you're God. Now, what God sits around and says to himself or herself or itself, let's get prepared for the worst. Let's not have our hopes be too high. Just listen to that. Don't let your hopes get too high. Think about what that means. At some time or other, we've all been taught and have downloaded and accepted these ridiculous notions that we should somehow not get too excited for the great thing that is to come. I think my favorite one is life is not a fairy tale. How asinine is that? To go out into life and say that it's not a fairy tale, or life is not a dream. I mean, well, what is life supposed to be? A nightmare? Is it supposed to be a story with a bad ending? Is life not supposed to have a happy beginning, middle, and ending? Think about some of these things that you hear people say every day, and it's all in preparation to protect you from what they would call the rigors of life. When you hear those things and when you believe those things, you're paving the way for them to come to you, brick by brick. You're literally laying down cement and paving the way for lack. Who goes into a situation, any situation, preparing for the worst? Who does that? Always put the cart before the horse. Always. Don't ever have a cynical backup plan. Don't ever do that. I don't think I've ever heard Neville Goddard say, put the cart before the horse, but in my opinion, it sounds like something he would say, because that's what we do. We expect the best, the highest, the most at all times. We never go out into our lives in this physical human experience expecting the worst or expecting less than the very best. I hope this resonated with someone. And I also hope everyone listening continues to put the cart before the horse and to count your chickens before they hatch. I want to invite all of my listeners to please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, I thank you for listening. Bye, everybody.